What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. Jocko Willink was on Modern Wisdom, which is Chris Williamson's podcast, which I really enjoy. Chris Williamson, I think he's become over the years one of the better interviewers out there. So if he has guests that I find interesting, I tend to watch a podcast. In this case, Jocko. I actually don't know too much about Jocko. I've seen clips of him. I saw him being interviewed, I think at one point by Jordan Peterson, but I'm very limited in my knowledge. And I'm also very limited in my knowledge of how the military runs. So I thought this was an interesting conversation. When they started talking about Pete Hegseth, I thought, I'll clip this out and I'll share it with you guys because it could be interesting. So let's get to the first bit where they talk about Pete Hegseth.
What do you make of Pete Hegseth and everything that's going on there?
I think Pete is, I think establishment people inside that world are scared because he is a change agent, and I think he's bringing change. And I think he's aggressively bringing change, which, hey, when you aggressively do things, sometimes some things are going to get, like, there's going to be some collateral damage. And that's one of those things that I think he has decided is worth it. And so I think he's making aggressive change. And I think some people don't like it. And that's the way it is. Yeah.
There's some report thing that I saw, the 120 high-ranking roles are.
Oh yeah, I think he got rid of a bunch of flag officers, admirals and generals. Yep.
Yeah, 9 4-star general positions and 80 1, 2, and 3-star roles.
Check.
That sounds like a lot.
Do you know? I mean, I don't know if they have this information readily available, but I remember when in World War II, I think we had less generals and admirals than we have right now.
Yes.
So that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
and
you've got this increasingly top heavy.
Yes. And it's everyone, the military is a human organization. And so when you have the ability, when people's human nature takes over, and I want to build my organization to be a little bit bigger than someone else's organization because it's going to benefit us and it's going to make me better and it's going to make our chain of command higher, then people do that. And they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, it says the goal of reducing salary expenses by streamlining upper ranks, reallocating leadership responsibilities to lower-ranking officers. Army is expected to absorb a significant share of the reductions, while the Marine Corps and Space Force will see minimal impact due to their already lean leadership structures.
Yeah, the Marine Corps stays lean. I don't know too much about Space Force. The Army and the Navy probably have excessive, jet flag and general officers. And again, he's right. You shouldn't have, you should have junior people in charge of things that are commensurate to their level of responsibility. It doesn't take an admiral or a general to do certain jobs that, a lieutenant colonel or a major. If you look at what the majors did in World War II, it's like insane compared to
what level is a major at?
An 04.
Right.
So that's like the first field grade officer in the Army or the Marine Corps. In the Navy, it would be called a lieutenant commander. That's what I was. I was a lieutenant commander in the Navy. But if you look at what those guys did in World War II, it's like insane. And I think it's a good job getting back to that. I think it's awesome.
Bring things.
Yeah, all the cuts. I may not know too much about the military and how it runs, but I know a lot about running businesses. We run 2 very successful businesses. And it's like anything else. You cut the fat. And with AI these days, and especially when you look at the military or the government years ago, you might have needed, say, 30 or 50 people to be in an office all these years ago. But today with AI, with computers, 10 of those people could probably be replaced by an AI software. I definitely know that for us, we run a very streamlined business now. We used to have 10 employees. We're down to 2. When people moved on or quit, we just didn't replace them. I'm not going to fire the lowest paid person in my company just so I can replace them with AI. That's not really how I roll. But when people moved on, when they had better and bigger opportunities, which I'm happy for them for, we just didn't replace them. And I think a lot of it could be like this in the military. And I think in the military, especially the last, let's call it 20 years, a lot of people got promoted and get big pay bumps that there's no wars going on. There's nothing going on. You don't really need these people there. and the salaries take up a lot of money. And like any other government organization, I'm guessing there's a lot of waste going on. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, but let's get back to Jocko.
Closer back down toward the battlefield as well, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how much of it is just this difficulty, this inevitable bloat that comes along with any organization that's been around for ages.
Yeah, 100%.
What are you going to do? Like fire this person? Or like, oh, you did this, there's no role for us to elevate you into?
You remember when Elon Musk took over Twitter? Everyone remembers that he fired, what did he fire? 2/3, 3/4 of the force?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3/4 of the people.
Him and 10 Asian guys running the entire company.
And people freaked out like, oh, it's never going to survive. I mean, obviously it survived, and it in many aspects got better. But you're right. When Jack Dorsey started Twitter, there was probably 3 employees, right? And then over time it grew, and he hired engineers, I'm sure, in the beginning, and software engineers and programmers, and eventually he hired someone that was in charge of something that didn't really matter, and then that person hired a team, and then that person hired 5 more people. And so yes, it's bureaucratic bloat that happens. And has it happened in the Department of Defense? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so Pete Hegseth comes in and says, yeah, we're not doing it anymore, which is very contrary to what a normal bureaucrat would do. Because a normal bureaucrat would say, oh, you're putting me in charge of something? Cool, I'm going to make that something as big as I possibly can and bring as much money as I can. He invited Doge to come in there and have a look. Tell me where we can save money. And if you don't think there's money that can be saved in the Department of Defense, you're crazy. Like, of course there is.
How many billions of dollars are unaccounted for every single year? It's insane.
Totally insane. It's totally insane. So I think seeing that attitude, and I think is what's helping the recruiting a lot.
Guys, sort of stop it right here. If you don't mind just smashing that thumbs up button for your boy, that really goes a long way into helping me out. And also, if you're not yet subscribed and it's not your first time here, maybe this could be the video that I earn your subscription. Let's get back to it.
The funny thing about the Elon pivot that maybe even relates to this and to the level of recruitment as well, I remember Elon put some job listing out saying, if you want to work harder than you ever have at anything, the most difficult problems, 18-hour days, etc., apply here, twitter.com/jobs or whatever. And the responses were, this is industrial revolution era style tyranny. There is no respect for workers and all the rest of this stuff. And I was like, hey, look, not everybody is built to do that. And if you're not built to do that, then I imagine that this looks like a threat to you. But you don't understand what it's like to be in the top 0.1% of coders on the planet to whom, if you were to say you're not allowed to do this, you would be robbing them of a source of real well-being and pleasure. There are people who live to do that. They want to sleep under their desk. They want to be able to work on the hardest problems, so on and so forth. And you get to attract that kind of talent, but you never get to attract that kind of talent who are the most efficient, who are going to come up with the best kind of ideas for as long as there's all of this fucking bloat and bureaucratic red tape and bullshit.
Yeah.
And the fact that you think, okay, Twitter, maybe it's important, maybe it's not. I think we can all agree that fucking national defense is pretty important, right? Yeah. So if there is a place where you should not be allowing bureaucratic fuckery and bloat and unnecessary roles to be in there, it's probably in the Department of Defense.
Yeah. And like I said, there's going to be some collateral damage, and people will freak out about the collateral damage. But when something happens and we got rid of this program, and it turns out that program was actually something that looks like we should keep, okay, cool, we'll bring it back. It's not that big of a deal. And it passed the test, by the way, because everyone, let's not get rid of that program. Okay, cool. Yep, you're right. Show me the numbers. Yep, let's bring that program back in. So I think that it's something, it's revolutionary what's happening in the government. And yeah, I think it's going to go well.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know what you guys think. I learn a lot from my subscribers, especially on these topics. I've never been in the military. My family was, my dad was, my grandfather was, but I have personally not been in it, and I definitely don't know about the economics of it. So this was quite interesting to me. Let me know your comments in the description. I'll catch you in the next one.